I'm glad you said that because that is really my point. If you're in California, you need to look up your city, your county's minimum wage to make sure you're good. Welcome back, folks. It's another episode of It's About Payroll. It's about your paycheck. We're up to 129 on It's About Payroll and episode 40 on It's About Your Paycheck. And if you're wondering, yes, at some point we will split this off and there will be separate episodes. But sometimes it just makes sense to do one. And this is one of those things we think. You tell us. But before we get into all that, what's up, Walt?
What's up? What's up with you, man? I'm good.
What's up, William? Wait, it's Walter William. Guess I never get it right.
Yeah, Walter William back in the
Walter
third.
William.
You be like
William Walt the third. Because I always get confused because like your name is Walter William, but then at one point you was like, no, I'm gonna go by William, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay, that must be his first name. So it's William Walter, but it's really Walter William the third, the Duncan the third, WD3. You know what I mean?
Yep. WD.
What's good,
man? Nothing much. I'm good, bro. Just grateful, sitting in that gratitude again.
Good, man. That's a great
focus, ready to go. How about you, man?
I'm doing the same, man. It's definitely a season of change.
It's transition.
Yeah, it's definitely a season of transition. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows, guys?
So, hey, sometimes life in general will have you speeches and just, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, so many.
It's just the way it goes.
My life for the last almost a year now has been like, I think of Oprah saying, you can have it all, but not all at once. So it's okay. It's things like, folks, when we like share stuff, it's because we're going through it, right? We are not at a point where we could give some people some advice because we are successful in our own right. But yeah, like I don't think we say it enough. We're not talking at folks. We're talking with y'all, right?
We're relating.
We're sharing our experiences and we're sharing our struggles.
Current and
through
past.
Payroll, through your paycheck, through these conversations. We just say, present, future, past, who knows? But yeah, so I don't want every folks like, who do they think they are? Nobody really. We don't think we're anybody. We're Brian and Walt. That's who we think we are.
Well, and then hopefully with AI, we can be like Minority Report and predict hero prophecy ahead of time.
My son would just brought up something about there's something going at some rap artists because they accused them of using AI. But I was like, wait, did he use AI for his own voice? And apparently he may not have the facts right. But I was like, I don't think there's a problem with that. I was like, the problem is somebody taking our voices and trying to use it in their games. Yes. That's the problem. Taking other art, like how that Drake, what was it, Drake and somebody, Kendrick, they write that. I wonder if that sparked the beef. Did that spark the beef? I don't even know what sparked the beef, right? Who cares? They just got record sales and record streams and all that. As long as they don't take it to real life, rap beef is cool. Rap battling is part of the culture. Just don't make it Biggie Tupac thing where it got real and we lost two of the greatest MCs, two of the greatest hip hop artists that will ever be. That was senseless. That was unnecessary. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Speaking of hip hop, by the way, if we're talking real quick, I just saw Piece by Piece. It's a Lego movie, but it's Pharrell Williams' documentary.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's cool.
Bro, go see it with wifey. You will love it. I think you will love it. I think you will absolutely enjoy it. I took the kid. Like, I was the one that prompted it because I saw the preview for it. And I was like, oh, I want to see this. I'm the one.
I haven't even seen a trailer or anything.
Because you know what it is. I'm being kids' movies. So I saw the trailer at one of the other kids' movies that we went to see. And I was like, oh, mark that on the calendar. We're going to see that. And sure enough.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm going to check that out.
Mad underrated. It's definitely not getting the love that it should be getting as a Lego movie, as a hip hop movie. Because
everything's about Diddy.
Oh, my God. You see the distractions of things. Yeah, man, forget him, bro. Like, who really? And that's what my wife was saying. She's distractions, babe. Distractions. I was like, because everything is Diddy. Like all the everything on the feed is. Come on, you know what I mean? Because the part that is just because we brought it up, we haven't talked about it on the show yet. The part that I would definitely not condone, support in any way is any underage type of things, right? I'm a
Yeah.
father of daughters. Like, if you were doing that, as you deplorable, like you horrible, you deserve every minute in jail that, even with
Mhm.
males. But
No matter who
no
it
matter
is.
who, yeah, oh God, no, no matter like that age thing is horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But his sexuality, if it's just a matter of his sexuality, then yeah, hey, clearly he was in the closet, I think, is what they're saying. I haven't gotten dug into any of it. It's nonsense to me, other than
Yeah.
the illegal activity. He needs to go, but and if he's in jail, clearly they had enough to put him away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
You
man.
got to pay your time, kid. Sorry, you were a predator, just like Hollywood and how they talk about the casting couch and all the horrible things that the
Yeah, man.
people in power do. You know what I mean? I think it's karma. I think, hey, you do the crime, you got to do the time. If karma comes back to you one way or another, and that's what it is.
Agreed, man. And man, look, with that, we're gonna segue.
Yes.
We're talking about, you mentioned Tupac, so today's topic is gonna be
California
about,
love.
we're talking about California
We don't have a
roads.
producer, folks, so we're our own. Like, we're gonna have to start throwing in our own sound bites and exactly. You know
War-
what I mean?
war-
Going back to
no.
Cali.
Yeah. People would love that, yeah.
Yep. Oh gosh, there's so many. Anywho, yes, we are talking about California minimum wage today. We're getting in and just give employees enough to be armed and dangerous and savvy
Yep.
with information. We want to empower
Mhm.
y'all with information and resources and the tools and the savviness to go out there, find more information, do the research in the right spots, go look at the right
Yeah.
things, right? You look, the topics that we talk about are so, how can I say, so big. There's so much information and everything that we only hope to give you enough to go get you fired up and research
Yeah.
in the right places and learn the right things.
We want to spark that
Would have
interest,
sparked
right?
that interest to be like, oh, what they say? Hold on, let me go do
Yeah.
on the phone anyway, right? We have the most powerful
Mhm.
tool in the world in our hands.
Mhm.
I get so frustrated in my kids when they ask me questions because I'm like, you literally have a computer in your hand. You ain't even got to type. You could just ask Siri. Come on.
You have magic
You
in your
got
hands,
magic in your hands. Come on. What are you asking me for?
bro. Ghost.
Google it.
Yep.
Siri it. So, anywho, we're going to get into Cali minimum wage. But before that, we have some pay news to help and to drop them little nuggets here and there because we like current events. We like news, stay informed.
Yep. So what you got
And
for
of course, I don't know what the word is, but as always, we find this common
We're in
threads
sync.
in sync, even when we're
Yep.
not in sync. Because we prep, but we don't talk about every moment and every article that we're gonna go pull. So we both
Mhm.
pulled fast food articles that have to do with California. Mine is about the fast food minimum wage that happened in California in the last year. Employers were like up in arms because of this new minimum wage. How could this be? We're going to lose our business. It's going to kill the industry. Blah, because
You
they balked at having to pay their workers more money. Heaven forbid you have to pay them a fair wage. You know what I mean? But survey says that none of those things happen. So all these business owners said, oh, because the minimum wage is going to go up for fast food workers, we're going to lose workers. We're going to lose business. Our business is going to die. Right now, that may have happened for some businesses.
It definitely
Yeah.
did. It definitely did.
Yep. It happened for some, but those are going to be businesses that are on the fringe of collapse anyway. You know what I mean? The pandemic got rid of those businesses that were just like on the fringe, right on the
Mhm.
cusp of staying in business or going out of business. So that means you were one thing away from going out of business anyway. And this just happened
Yeah.
to be that thing, right? Look, I'm a student of business and I get seemingly cold about how it plays out because I just understand the business of it all. And I get there are people on the other side of it. I get it, but business is business. It's one of the first things we learned in business school was business ethics is an oxymoron. So it doesn't always click like morality and the thing like it should, but when you go by business, it's not always going to take care of the people. So anywho, there are some companies that did go out of business because they couldn't afford to pay their people the $20. I think it was $20 an hour or something that it went up to in California just for fast
Terrible.
food workers. Okay.
Yeah.
But the opposite happened. They just added more jobs in the most recent survey. Like they're up. So go fig. There you go. What's yours about, man?
Mine's about something that happened at Taco Bell.
Oh, my
Believe it or
fave.
not. So there was a franchisee who owned a couple of Taco Bells and Subways in Northern California.
Okay.
What happened is that they cheated over 230 workers out of $4 million in wages.
What?
Yeah.
How?
So
Did they say how?
yeah. So the scheme involved them paying their employees below the minimum wage, denying overtime, and making illegal deductions for meal breaks and cash shortages. Many of them didn't speak English, as they were immigrants, and they were threatened with deportation or getting fired.
So they had illegal people working there too?
Look, maybe on some visas, work visas. I don't know. I don't know everything, but look, they tried
multiple
so
infractions here.
yeah, they also falsified payroll records.
Oh my God.
But it was one worker. It was that one worker. What do we always say? You speaking up.
That's right.
You may be that one domino
That's
that
right.
starts that chain.
That's right.
of events. That one worker stood up and reported it to their local workers' rights center,
Nice.
and it sparked an investigation.
Dope.
And they found out that employees were earning less than $5 an hour after deductions in California.
Oh, that's way under
But wait.
minimum.
Wait, there's one more
There's
thing
more.
that I really think is the shocker, is the big twist here. So after their investigation, they found out that this person was tied to organized crime
Oh.
and human trafficking.
Oh.
And so that because some of the workers had been trafficked into the U.S. and forced to work under the threat of violence. So by the end of
Holy
2020, the operators faced criminal charges and were ordered to pay millions in back wages. So the articles are going to be in the show notes and stuff. I found that fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so on point with what we're talking about. Yeah, that's crazy, man. We keep finding this stuff. I swear to God, folks, we thought one day we were like, we're not going to find enough content in this arena.
There's no way people are just going to continue to commit crimes,
Commit these same
make their
payroll
own
crimes and do these same payroll frauds.
wire
There's
fraud.
not enough. No.
Ghost employees.
Cow.
That temptation.
It's
It's
the
that
temptation. It comes back to that
Bro.
temptation to kill you every time.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
man. Whew. Before we get into it, let's pay some bills here. Shout out to TimeTrack
All
Go.
right. TimeTrack Go. Let's get it. All right. Are you tired of manual employee time tracking and error-prone payroll processes? Discover how TimeTrack Go can revolutionize your payroll and HR departments.
That should be a word thing. Error-prone payroll process. Say it 5 times fast.
Whoa, whoa,
Like
whoa.
no, this is fine, bro. When I read it the first time, I was like, oh man, we could loosen it up a little bit. So we just did. And TimeTrack Go is having an upcoming webinar next Tuesday, October 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern to learn more about the file. What's up?
Yeah. But by the time you hear this, it's going to be Tuesday.
Oh, actually,
It'll be next
yes.
Tuesday.
When you hear this, it'll be like Tuesday, that Tuesday.
Yes.
So get on it. They're having a webinar, TimeTrack Go. The link to register will be in the show notes, and it's also in the post when we post it wherever, but it's also in the show notes. And so anywho, the webinar is going to cover a few different things. They're going to cover employee tracking for hourly and salary employees. They're going to cover streamlined payroll integration because it integrates with mostly, I think, every system. They're going to talk about the powerful mobile app that they have, also with geofencing capabilities. They're going to talk about accurate PTO tracking and time off requests, all which you can do in the TimeTrack Go system. They're going to talk about how you can use an ordinary tablet to do modern payroll employee time tracking. And last but not least, automatic holiday pay calculations, which we all know we need help with because sometimes it's manual and you don't want to have to do manual. You want to automate this stuff. You want to automate as much as you can. Shout out to TimeTrack Go.
Yep. Again, this webinar is Tuesday, October 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern. The link is going to be in our show notes, or you can go visit TimeTrackGo.com, and you can go on Facebook and LinkedIn to register as well. Let's go.
All right, folks. Now we are talking about the money, literally, always the money. California minimum wage. And one of the things that I wanted to share about California minimum wage is its complexity by they get granular by city. So
Yep.
I'll start you off here. Here we go. On May 1st. Well, I don't know why I say May 1st. On January 1st, 2024, the beginning of this year, California instituted a minimum wage of no less than $16 per hour, regardless of the size of their employer. Whoa, that's big too. Holy cow. So let's talk about that for a quick moment, because employees may not get it. You don't pay attention to it when you're an employee.
Yeah.
Some states break minimum wage down by the size of the employer. Meaning if you're that small mom and pop, you got 4 employees and blah, blah, blah. Hey, maybe you can stick to the federal minimum wage. Okay. But if you're a large employer or mid-sized employer, depending on how the state breaks it down, then you have to abide by certain rules. Cali said it does not matter what size you are, $16 an hour minimum across the state since January 1st of 2024. So if you are in California and you work as a W-2 employee, okay, let me qualify that. If you're a 1099 contractor, you make your own rates. There are different things for 1099 contractors. This does not apply. This is a W-2 employee anywhere in the state, any company in the state, as long as you're working legally, you are entitled to $16 per hour. Here's the catch that I was so excited to share. There are over 40 variables in the state of California, meaning there are 40 locales, state, city, county, that pay at different rates.
Different minimum wage.
A different minimum wage. And for instance, let me see if I can go here real quick. I'm just going to throw out a couple examples, right? For instance, in Berkeley County, it's $18.67 minimum wage.
Yeah.
In Cupertino, $17.75 minimum wage.
Yeah. LA, 1678. San Francisco's 1807.
I have 1778 for LA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But see, I'm glad you said that, because that is really my point. If you're in California, you need to look up your city, your county's minimum wage to make sure you're good. And let's qualify even one step further. It's where you work, right? You may live in LA, but you work in Cupertino. That's probably not realistic, but you live in one and work in another. It's going to be where you work in that the minimum wage is, right? So you can't be like, oh, the city I live in is more. No, the company that's where it's the minimum wage, okay? So keep that in mind. If you're Cali and you're an employee in California, you can look up the minimum wage. And guess what? Berkeley.edu has an awesome breakdown. It will be in the show notes. City and county minimum wage ordinances. There are over 40 in California. Okay. It's not only the state, it's broken down by county and city. So
yeah, because previously with the minimum wage, I'm so glad you said that about the differences, right? Because they changed it historically. So I think 2022, this was the year before they changed it, because 2023 is when they made it level that no matter what size employer, you were going to be paid like $15.50. But before that, there was a dollar difference. So if you worked at it in 2022, if you worked at an employer that had 25 employees or less, that was $14 an hour. If you had 26 or more, that was $15 an hour, right? So you would have to know as the employee, hey, how many people do we have working here? And I'm only getting paid this much. That's a problem.
Exactly right. Oh, that's a great call out too. Because remember, Tabitha Brown was on, and she said she was paying at the time when she had her restaurant, she was paying her workers way above the minimum wage. And then kind of Cali caught up and started paying more as well. So and that's why that was my whole point, is it could be so different. Make sure you're looking at accurate information. Make sure the website that you use is even though I called out Berkeley's website, you use that to double check it. Hey, Berkeley's
Yeah.
saying that Los Angeles is this. Let me go look at Los Angeles City's government's website, minimum wage. That's where the truth,
Cool.
that's like the record of truth is the city's website, not
And
another website. Shout out to Berkeley for doing this because it's a dope and it looks
yeah.
very up to date, but you double check it, especially if you're trying to go to your employer and you're going to say, hey, you're not paying me properly. You want to definitely reference something that they have to abide by as well.
Yeah. And look for the employee, right? Just like in that example that I gave earlier about Taco Bell, the franchisee that was short paying the immigrants and not the non-citizen or immigrant employees. Even if you are an immigrant employee, you still have certain rights too,
Yep,
right,
absolutely.
to be paid.
Absolutely.
So speak up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So just employees, before Walt shares the employer piece, I'll let you know as an employee, check your pay stubs, look at your rates. Look, and then Cali has a very strict, oh, we should do that too. What has to be on a pay stub in Cali?
Yep.
Let's do that. And then, so one is check your pay stub. Two is report violations. If your employer, politely go to the employer. I would say, hey, politely go to your employer first. And if they're not responding, report them. And then the last thing, stay informed about the wage increases in where
Yes.
you are. And it could be just a matter of stay informed. Could be like, hey, look it up every
Yep.
now and then. Hey, you know what? Let me check
Yep.
it's been a while. Let me check the minimum wage, make sure it didn't go up or not.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it.
And look, as the employer, you want to make sure that you're doing the same thing, right? Because this is a change
Yep.
that occurred, right? It used to be one way a couple of years ago, and now it's different. Like Brian alluded to, no matter what the employer size is, the state minimum wage is now
Crazy.
$16 an hour as of January 1st, 2024, right? So you want to make sure and do your research as the employer, just like the employee should do. You want to see what local jurisdiction you are in because they may enforce a higher local minimum wage. And employers need to comply with that, right? You either comply or you fry. Right?
I love it.
So, you know what I'm saying? Well,
Comply or fry.
Yeah. By 2025, California's minimum wage is expected to continue increasing based on inflation.
Oh, dang.
So that was determined by California's Department of Finance during their annual assessment. So you want to make sure that you're aware of this as an employer and account for any potential increases in your budgeting and your payroll processes.
Yeah.
So what are those key considerations? Compliance, as I just said, comply or fry. That's with both state and local wages, right?
I love it. Comply or
Those
fry.
laws. Yeah. And then wage compression, challenges that occur as wages rise, right? So you may need to adjust wages for higher paid employees to maintain equitable pay structures.
I just learned about wage compression this past year, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. You want to conduct constant payroll audits. That's something you want to do anyway as an employer.
If you're right. Yeah. If you're the employer,
As
you're
their
the payroll pro, there should be audits on your schedule.
Yep. You want to make sure that whether you're in HR or payroll, somebody should be doing this audit to ensure that employees are being paid in accordance with the law, right? And you want to anticipate any increased costs in overtime, right? And any other wage-based benefits that are tied to the minimum wage levels, right? So these are all things that you want to make sure that you're addressing as the employer, right? And look, because if you're not doing right by the employees, eventually you're going to get the right one there. When I say that, the right one's going to show up and they're going to report everything. And you're going to have to do it anyway. And you're going to take potentially as a business, you may take a blow to your company's reputation and people might not want to work for you or anything like that. And it may impact the business. So just do the right thing now.
Yeah. Yeah. Karma's a mother effer, man. Like it'll come back to you for sure.
Sure will.
Nice.
All right.
A good one.
With that being said, we're going to end it out with our safe talk question.
Safe talk. Yep. And then, So is California's annual inflation-based minimum wage adjustment enough to ensure that employees can keep up with the state's high cost of living, or do we need a more proactive approach to wage increases? What do you think?
Man, for me, look, I think California is already very employee-centric. So I think that their Department of Finance is taking that into account already. And they have to balance it out. It just can't go tilt one way. It's a fine line that they
Balance.
made.
You said it. It's a
Well,
balance.
so that was like on that balancing beam or the
Yep.
tightrope. You know what I'm saying? You have to balance it out, and and you have to be meticulous with it, and you have to do it in the right way because you lean one way too far to the right, you might fall. It might
Yep.
cause something to break or
Yep.
something to go awry.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that they're doing a good job.
Agreed.
And look, there's always, no matter what, there's no perfect process. There's no perfect system as of yet, right? There's nothing perfect yet.
Mhm.
Maybe AI will help us get closer to that perfection. But look, there's always going to be something that can be done better in a better way. And that's why I think that they're doing a good job. I don't know if anything could be done to be more proactive about that. What about you?
No, I think that's the answer. Like, I just looked up to see, oh, there are, okay, there's 15 states and the District of Columbia index their minimum wage to inflation, meaning that the minimum wage increases automatically each year based on the cost of living.
Mhm.
Okay. So there you go, California being one of them. And there's 14 others that do it as well. So that's interesting. Why doesn't every state do it? You know what I mean?
So look, now with that being said, the average cost of living in California in 2024 is around $53,000 a year.
Okay.
So I know minimum wage, $16 an hour. That's about 33,000.
It, it
So
takes two.
look,
It gotta be
takes
two. It gotta be
equate
two people working. Yep. Yep. Exactly. So two people should be able to do it.
Girl.
Um, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I was out in Cali in the last few months as well, and same thing. I was talking to business owners, and they were like, "Man, I wish my people could buy homes and stuff
Mhm.
like that, but like it's so expensive. This area and that area is so expensive, and you know, and that's the case a lot of places now. I think I think pandemic really messed it up. Although I am seeing like things starting to correct itself, the mandate back to work, and they're changing the folks is like a lot. Well, companies did it right away, right? When they were like, oh, you moved without telling us, great, we're gonna adjust your salary to where you moved to.
Oh, it might work against them
I
too.
work against
So
them. This is what I'm saying.
yeah,
But people
right.
took a lot of liberties in the pandemic. They were like, oh, I'm moving
Yeah.
across the country. I work remote now. Not
Can
even
come to the
thinking, yeah,
office.
not even thinking that, hey, it might be one day come back to the office. Yeah, there's a lot of auto correction for that. But look, I think they're doing the right thing. Them and 14 other states are doing it right. Does it solve the problem? No. There's a part of me that believes that the American dream is built on always running for that carrot, right? The
Mhm.
carrot or the stick. And
You say we're constantly in the hamster wheel, huh?
yep, yep, yep.
No matter
And no
what.
matter what, and there's folks that break out of it, but
Yeah.
can you do that when it's just financial freedom? And
Oh, yeah. I heard that once you get a taste of that financial freedom, you never want to go back.
I believe
You
it.
can want it.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. That's it, folks. Check us out for the next one. We're definitely gonna do Cali paycheck rules. There are certain rules that folks should like. There are things that have to be on California pay stubs. Other states
Mhm.
are not as strict. So let's definitely touch that. Get that for the employees. Keep it tuned for that. And until the next time, we love you.
We love you.
Peace.
Peace.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.